Trees are really sort of a kind of who we are here in Greenville. Hopefully one of the first things you noticed when you came to downtown Greenville and you checked into the Hyatt is that our main street is lined with beautiful trees. And I don't know that you've had the opportunity to go to the top of one of the taller buildings and look down on Main Street, but this time of year, if you're on top of the Poinsett Plaza and the high-rise there, and you're in one of the condominiums on the top, and you look down at Main Street, you don't see Main Street, you see a canopy of trees. And those trees have been really a defining factor for us in Greenville. And the interesting thing about it is, back in the late 70s, mid to late 70s, when all of our downtown revitalization plans were just beginning, you might have already heard this, but the trees were very controversial. I wasn't even living here at that point. My husband and I moved back to Greenville in 1979, which now seems like a long time ago, but in the scheme of things, probably not. And the trees had really just been planted in the late 70s, and the Main Street had been 4 lanes, and it was moved to 2 lanes. Highly controversial. The merchants in Greenville were not happy about that because they felt that you weren't able to, people wouldn't be able to see their storefronts, and so there was a lot of controversy. But as I know you have heard already many times, we had a wonderful mayor at that time, Mayor Max Heller, who was from Austria, and he loved Greenville. He was determined to have Greenville be successful, be a successful downtown. He came from a European heritage where your downtown is the focal point of your city, and he wanted us to have a more European feel. He wanted us to have people downtown, activities, and he wanted it to be beautiful and also green. And so Max shared that vision with a number of other people in the community, some strategic business people, one of whom was my father, Buck Mickel, who was very involved with this process. And Tommy Weich is another, and you'll hear me talk about Tommy a little bit later. And they really, they and City Council and a number of other leaders really got behind the plan to revitalize downtown Greenville. And they didn't step back from that, and so that was really, in my way of thinking, that was one of the first times our public-private partnership really came together in a big way in downtown Greenville. And it was the public-private partnership that is what has made the whole downtown revitalization effort work. And that public-private partnership is what made the Hyatt work. The Hyatt was a tremendous crowning achievement for Greenville back in 1981 when the Hyatt opened, because our Main Street was dying, as other main streets. And to be able to have a Hyatt here in Greenville sort of put us on the map in many ways. The Hyatt was a big deal. We really, and you probably heard, should probably not have even had a Hyatt here. But because we had some connections with Hyatt Corporation through a family here in Greenville, we were able to get that Hyatt, and Max Heller was he was very important in that. And you've been here during the time that all the articles have been in the paper this week about Max Heller. I hope you've had a chance to read some of those, because if you have, you will have had an opportunity to really find out a lot about the revitalization of Greenville.